What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacish. With you, as always, my man here is Cristiano Oliveira. What's happening, Cristiano?
A little stressed out right now. But
You're a little stressed out why? Because of the Yankees?
that can esquece.
You can't be more stressed out than Dave.
No, Dave's team's
Yeah,
out.
at least you're in
Well,
the.
that's what
at
I'm
least you made
saying.
the wild card.
Yeah, man.
What's happening, Dave?
Nothing much. Good to be back on here tonight. I thought it was going to be positive Cristiano, and now man's all stressed out, and it's not even related to Benfica.
Oh, it's the top of the fifth. Oh, you still got a little time.
Whatever. What's up? We'll talk about the Yankees a little bit later on. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
What's crack-a-lacking?
I just remembered as you were doing your introduction. I wanted a host. You're a host next time.
You wanted to host? Go
Yeah.
ahead. You can
Nah,
still host.
too
I
late.
give you my notes.
Too
You
late
can't
now.
read my handwriting.
Too late now. Tonight's not the right night.
Tonight's not the
I'm
right time.
watching these bums over here.
Yeah.
But hey,
So here we are for another night, and welcome to all the Freddies who've already joined us.
the only sad part about today's podcast is we should have done it before Sunday because it would have been a much more positive Cristiano, episode. Right now it's ups and downs, and today look another strikeout.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Not only that, but we also got recapping Barcelona game, and then that which Cristiano alluded to, which was the game against Portimonense at Stade de Luz. We got international break, and we also got the elections on the horizon, which happened this Saturday the 9th.
Bro, we gotta welcome and say hello and welcome all the Freddies. Thank you very much for partaking in today's beautiful podcast. Have you welcomed them yet?
Yeah, I did. You just weren't listening.
Nah, me not listening. Nah.
That can't be. You got the wrong guy. He got the wrong guy. So anyway, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of another international break. What the hell is going on with these international breaks, man? I've had enough.
Do you?
Of
One
international
more is
breaks.
on the horizon after this month too.
Jesus. The good thing about international break is that Rafa was excused. So apparently he got a gunalgia. You know what a gunalgia is, Cristiano?
Lindas Nalgas. Is that what it is? Around the night.
The gunal. Well, I don't understand why they gotta
Ah.
make things so fucking difficult. It's a gunalgia. What the hell is a gun? Does a guy has a gonorrhea? Gunalgia. You know what it is? Take a guess. What's a gunalgia?
Magunalgia. Let's see. Magunalgia. I only went to school in Portugal in the first grade. They didn't teach us that.
It's pain in the knee.
Mas dor de joelho, caralho.
That's what I'm talking about. Why?
Tem joelho fodido.
Why
Gunalgia. You can't make this up.
Why can't they just say he's got knee pain?
Carlos. I'm
I-
pretty sure one of my old girlfriends had that. Gunalgia.
Carlos, that's when she was probably banging her in the carpet. You usually get gunalgia
No,
rash.
you mean banging her knee. We got children. You mean banging her knee in the carpet.
Banging the knees,
The
you know.
carpet, yes.
But yeah, I don't understand. And then you read an article in a Bola, and it says he got a gunalgia, but nowhere in the article does the Bola kind of dumb it down. Not only for the people who are not familiar with medical terms, but also us English speakers that we may not have that advance of a vocabulary
So
in
if you go to
Portuguese.
Google Translate.
I don't know.
Come
Put
on.
it up. Google Translate.
Eu não sei, pá,
A,
okay.
a gunalgia.
And this is, I don't even know how to spell that. Hey Siri, o que é uma gunalgia, pá?
Areas of mathematics, together with
Not algebra. Gunalgia. Oh,
Would you like to hear more?
what is a gunalgia?
Here's what I found from pitteriu.com. Gunaji, Sanskrit, is
Eu
a
tô
Hindu
lixado,
popular
Gunaji.
masculine.
É, testa também não percebe. How, if Siri doesn't know, how are we in North America gonna know what the hell a gunalgia is? Siri knows everything.
Let me see if we got it. If we got it right, go.
think it's time the podcast hires a doctor.
Yeah.
That
So
be on
so
the podcast.
so I looked up Gunalgia in English, and in Portuguese is the same. It's the same term.
No, it's just this guy said knee
Gunalgia
pain.
is the same term.
Gunalgia.
Knee pain. Yeah. I don't understand why they got to make it so difficult for us reading the articles. So we got to go search for the articles. That's awful, man. It's awful. But anyway,
I'll tell you this. It must be one hell of a pain in the knee because it took two guys to replace him.
that's right.
Him and Domingos Duarte were let go. Were not let go. Were released because of whatever, some medical gunalgia apparently, and whatever else for the other guy. And they called up three guys. So
Yeah.
that means
Him and the goalie, right? The
no,
Duarte.
Duarte.
Oh,
No. He's a center. Domingos Duarte, the center back.
Oh, he's a center back. Yeah.
Center back. Right, Dave? Right.
Yeah, where does he play? Spain, right?
Spain. He's in Spain. Yeah, Granada.
Yeah.
I think something like
So
that.
anyway, we got a little bit derailed, but let's get right into it. Benfica played Barcelona in match day 2 of the Champions League, a game that we did the podcast on Tuesday. The game was on Wednesday, and we had a lot to say. But we also, some of the things that we said is that if there's a Barca that we could beat, this is the one, because they're in disarray. But yet we knew it was going to be a tough task. So let's start with the lineup, and then we'll get into the game. Vlaco Dimos, Verissimo, Otamendi, and Vertonghen, Lázaro, Grimaldo, Weigl and João Mário, Rafa, Yaremchuk, and Darwin was the lineup. And I guess it's safe to say this is most likely, or if not, our strongest lineup, with the exception of Lázaro. I don't think he's cemented a place yet in the lineup. He's the best.
He's our best option.
He's played a game and a half. He's already our best option.
Best option at that right wing back position. Don't kid yourself.
Right. So started very, very quick. Was it 3 minutes? 3 minutes in, and we were up 1-0 on Barcelona. Who would have thunk it, right? A ball played deep. Darwin chased it, beat a defender with a step over, and then
he looked like he was in the Olympics in the hurdles. Of it.
The legs were just going everywhere like a giraffe.
In a triple jump. He was doing a triple jump. No, and I thought that when I was watching it, I thought that his touch out of the step over was a little bit long, but as it turns out, it kind of ended up working in his favor. Right, because it goes a little bit long, so the defender now sees, okay, it's going a little bit long. There's no way he's going to hit that near post. He hits a near post, tricks Ter Stegen, and Benfica's up 1-0. He tricked himself up.
Look, all I know is that
he was going for a cross.
Grand Darwin. I never doubted the guy for a second.
Yeah, but
Alfredo says, "Yeah." My partner cries.
The funny thing is, we kind of have a running joke in our private chat where I've always had a little bit more patience for Darwin, and Chris and Dave always rag on me, and they like to paraphrase me and throw shit when Darwin's not doing too well, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm done with Darwin. I don't have any more patience for Darwin, and then he starts scoring.
Dave texted me outside of that private chat, and he asked, "Yo, any word, any idea if Alfredo was crying?"
No, because
he didn't want to ask.
Yeah, and then there was another episode. I think that he had gone on a huge drought and he had scored, and he got really emotional. And this was after he came back from injury. He came back from injury, and also there was some confidence issues with him. So when he scored, he got emotional, and I said, I'm not gonna lie, but a little tear came out of my eye, in my eye, because I'm like everyone. I like a good underdog story, and to me, Darwin seems like an underdog a little bit, right?
How is he the underdog when he's gotten paid
a lot of money?
The most expensive player in the history of the league. He's an underdog.
But it's a guy that everybody shit on.
But listen. But at least for
so
this,
my boy Seferovic.
Exactly. At least for this one game, for this one play, right? As we talk about, what happened throughout the rest of the game, it came out roses. So credit to him. Whether it's, might have caught us by surprise, obviously caught Ter Stegen by surprise. But credit to him for having the belief in himself and doing what he has to do with the Mugly crossover, step overs, whatever you want to call them. It did exactly what he was intended to do. So credit to him. He got on the score. Benfica took an early lead, and the Estádio da Luz exploded, which was great to see. It's great to see Benfica at home at least, come out on the right foot and get that early lead against such a historic club in the Barcelona that, as we've said 50,000 times, this is the time. If you ever want to play, this is the time you want to play 'em. But you know what? You still have to play those games, and Darwin came off right from the starting game with the right attitude, the right mindset, and he took it to them. And so, credit to him. Benfica got the early
Yeah.
lead,
Yeah,
and then it was agarra teu pau y sabes
no,
como é que é.
look, I thought it was a very good. Excuse me. I thought it was a very good half by Benfica. I thought that the talk before the game, uh,
which I gave the week
which you
before, right, Dave?
which you gave some pointers to JJ, the talk before the game,
Sheriff.
it basically is said, you got nothing to lose. You're playing in the stadium. You're playing against a Barcelona who's a little bit weak,
Wounded.
if you
A
say
wounded dog.
wounded. And let's just take the game to them. Let's just take the game to them. And I thought that JJ got a spot on in terms of that conversation. But I thought that Benfica was excellent in that first half in terms of how they approached the game. And then I was having a conversation with Chris about 3-4 days ago when we were talking, and I was telling Chris, this was Monday actually. I was telling Chris, so yesterday, I was I was telling Chris that I didn't think that Benfica players played out of their skin. Yes, they had a good game, but I felt that the team played to the best of their capabilities. When you talk about players playing out of their game and have an exceptional game, that Juventus game comes to mind, where they were throwing bodies in front of the ball, everything. I just thought that Benfica was an image of what we've been evolving to so far this season.
Bye, Dave, because
I was the first one in that, especially in that first half. I think there was still a lot of chances that should have been made. I thought they were a bit sloppy there in the final third with some passes that I don't know if they were just feeling some pressure from Barcelona, or I don't know. I just felt that the team was making a lot of errors in terms of that final pass to the final third there. But ultimately, we go into the half 1-0 up, and Barcelona had more chances created more chances in the first half too, that they failed to capitalize. Right, so. Yeah. Ultimately, we've been on the other end of the equation, so we got to take these strong European nights because they haven't come to us easily last couple of years here.
And well said, Dave. I totally agree with you. I think the one shocking thing from this game going into the half, being only the score, right, being only 1-0, because I thought Benfica could have definitely gotten a couple more on the scoreboard. I thought Benfica were lucky that Barca had a couple of chances. They didn't make the most of it. So, I mean, the 1-0 result was to me was the least that Benfica could have done, because they could have definitely gotten into the half leading by 2 or 3, just like they could have gotten into the half, tied 1-1. Credit to Benfica, to the defenders, to do what they have to do. This is what they have to do, right? That's why they play the game, they practice, and they're there for these reasons, right? To stop the ball from going in their own net. And Benfica did exactly that. I thought they played well enough. Darwin is a guy that, as we mentioned, scored that early goal, but he also shanks a lot of opportunities. Yeah. That's the frustrating part about this Darwin Nunez that we've seen at Benfica so far, because you could have gone into the halftime with a little bit more breathing space, and we didn't. And then we came out in the second half. It was, a little bit of the same. But credit to Benfica, credit to JJ, who never took the pedal off, the foot off the pedal, and who had these intentions of just going forward, never sitting back. You've seen even JJ in years past, right, where when Benfica would get a lead, they were like, call off the horses, right? They'd sit back and try to hold on to the score, and we didn't see that. So it was a beautiful thing to see. The style of the lose rocking. Yeah, that was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah, look, it's one of those games that if you're there, it's a game that you'll never forget. And when people ask you about like a memory or a memorable game, this is a game that will stay in your memory forever. But I just look. And I don't subscribe to the idea that this was an extremely weak Barcelona.
It is though.
It is, but
It is. It's
they
not.
still have players that could hurt you.
But look, it is. I know. And we
But-
talked about that last. It's a historic win based on who the opponent was,
Right.
but on the name on the shirt of the opponent. Because if you look at that team, this is a team that look, they lost a lot of the firepower. They still have some of those guns that could absolutely hurt you, but they didn't. And so this is a team that's still struggling. That seems like they're not on the same page with the manager. And credit to Benfica. Benfica could only control what they do, could only worry about themselves, and they did exactly that. Now, I wasn't one of those guys on Wednesday that was crying and had tears in my eyes, like, oh my God, we beat. You know what I mean? Look, it's Barcelona. I get it. They still have quality players. But we're catching Barcelona at the right time. Barcelona that is going through their own BS. And credit to Benfica for doing what they had to do. It's a game that I think Benfica was in a no-win situation coming into this game. If Benfica lost to this bum-ass Barcelona squad, right, it'd be, oh, my God, you can't even beat them bums. Or, I'm being a little bit harsh here. But you can't even beat that team. That's the weekend Barcelona. It's not the regular squad that we're accustomed to. How could you not beat that team that's struggling week in, week out? Fine. Okay. And then, obviously, Benfica beat them 3-0 at home. They had a couple tough moments. But
I get that.
But it was a comfortable victory, right? And here I am not criticizing, but not praising them. Giving them the praise that they should get, which is, it's a weekend up. So Benfica was in a tough position. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the victory. Benfica's got 4 points in the first 2 games. And I know I just got ahead of the game.
Could have been 6, but no. And look, I think that Benfica had an extremely good start. Goes into the half with a 1-0 lead. Then in the second half, Barcelona tries to start something up, but still, that team is in so much disarray that even Ter Stegen coming out for that ball that Darwin hit the post on, that it just shows a little bit what this Barca is.
I'll tell you, if that was Vlaco Dimas, a lot of people be calling for him to get shipped out the door. I'm just saying.
People will be crying for Varela to come back.
But look, here's a question I got for both of you guys. Do you guys think that Darwin's got to do better with that?
You've already asked me that question.
I know I did, but not
Dave.
on air.
Dave, go ahead, Dave.
My thing with Darwin is that when he's in the box one-on-one with the keeper and he needs to shoot, he makes that additional pass. And then when he's on the wing or in a position that he should be making that pass to somebody that is in front of the net, he goes for the shot. So man is operating backwards for my take here. There I think Yaramchuk, if I'm not mistaken, is more one-on-one with the keeper at a better angle, and Darwin goes for the pass. I don't know if he's just been hammered in and told to shoot, don't worry about passing, and now that's all that's on his mind. Doesn't matter where he is at on the field, but in positions that he needs to make that shot, he's passing it, and then in positions where the pass is the better option, he's taking the shot. I don't know what's going through.
But I'm
the
talking
guy's
about
mind.
the one play, the play that he hits the
goes
upright.
around.
Yeah, that one there.
I'm saying, you think he should have done better?
I think he should have made the pass. If I'm not
He should have made the
mistaken,
pass. No, Dave, he shot it on goal, dude.
And he thinks he should have made the pass because Chuck was
he
on the other
shot
side
it on the
by himself.
post.
Yeah, he hit the post. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chuck was on the other side by himself. There was a defender in the middle. Right, Dave? If I'm not mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to kind of rewatch
Yeah,
it.
I don't.
Look, I'm not. Look, I'm 100%.
You thought he could have done better, meaning put the ball
scoring.
in the back
I'm
of the
not
net.
meaning the pass. No, he's got to hit the goal line. The goal's wide. I get it. He's the most expensive player in the history of the Portuguese league. He's got to be able to put that ball on net from that angle. My opinion. That's it. If that's Jonas, is that going on goal?
Oh, absolutely. With his eyes closed.
If that's
But,
my
I mean,
boy,
you
that's
thought-
my boy Sverovic.
Yeah,
He's gotta
look,
switch to the
I
left
think
foot and he slows it down.
let's break this down, right? So he knows the goalie's off the goal, right? So your first instinct is nobody in goal. I gotta hit the target. I think the last thing he was thinking about was the pass. Yes, the pass. If he lifts up his head and sees where Chuk is, he might have placed him.
But dude,
But I think his first look is
but
who's in goal.
For us, it's easy to sit
It's
here,
easy,
right?
yeah, right.
We're watching on TV, we're watching from above, and like, oh, you got your look. All you know as a player, you're looking down, you're chasing the ball. All of a sudden, yo, I just beat the keeper.
Yeah,
Shit, there's no keeper. You're not thinking about pass. First thing you do is looking up at the net.
yeah.
So I don't blame. I'm not killing him. Dave, I see what you're saying. It looks to us Monday morning quarterbacking right from the outside. It looks like the wiser choice would have been the pass because the other guy centrally, yada yada yada. I get it, but as a striker, you see the goalkeeper out the goal. Your first instinct, man, is to pick your head up and pick out the goal. I just thought that
Yeah.
it was harder to hit the post than it was actually put it on net and he hit the post.
Yeah. No, I agree with Dave, with Davey, what Davey's saying is a tough angle, man. And he's from a distance also. I'm surprised he hit the post. I could have sworn he was going to miss the goal altogether. It would have been probably easier to miss the goal altogether.
Yeah, I don't think he was intending to hit the post off, right? Let's not give the guy credit. It would have been easy to miss something.
No, but it would have been more acceptable from Darwin to miss the goal than to hit the post or to score the goal. But certainly, it's one of those things that it happens. You see the team in disarray, and I think that Benfica just grew confident. And then you got the Rafa goal in the 69th minute, which I thought that just put down Barca, put the game away, and then in the third, the PK, which was an obvious PK with my man Gilberto Carlos, with the header. And the obvious
that's a PK all day, every day.
Yeah, every day. I think that the ref went to the VAR. It took him a whole 2 seconds to look at the play and to call it. It didn't even take that long. He just needed to see.
His only hesitation was
the ball was.
His only
the
hesitation
arm
in
was
calling that was, did he want Darwin to get his third brace in 4 games? That was. Which, by the way, he got his third brace.
You know
in 4
that
games.
Darwin asked for the ball to take that PK.
Good for him. He's trying to make up for hitting the post.
It just but you know what what that speaks of is the growing confidence, right? So he's feeling confident, asked for the ball. If his confidence was an all-time low, and this goes I got a frog in my throat today.
Yeah.
You're getting choked up talking about Darwin.
I'm getting choked up. And this goes back to what Cristiano was saying last week, right? If you guys follow our podcast and you listen to us, as Darwin is having that discussion, that argument with JJ, and they're going back and forth, and I asked Chris, I'm surprised, or I told Chris, I'm surprised it didn't come out right away. And Chris' angle was, well, we took such a long time to build up his confidence. If he takes him there, if he takes him out, he shoots his confidence right down. So where's the confidence for Darwin in this game? So it just kind of played up to it, right? And the fact that he's asking for the ball is a sign that he's growing in confidence, regardless whether he still shanks a lot. But I still think that he's better with Seferovic if he chooses to go to goal. His growing confidence is good. Because that physicality, that speed,
that's the one thing,
the ability to keep the ball.
I've used this line here on the podcast for, I don't know, 20 years now, it seems, which is one thing you can't teach, man. You can't teach size, you can't teach speed, and he's got both of them. And he uses that to his advantage. He uses that physicality. And, you could tell that Barcelona was a little bit taken back for a while. Like, whoa, what's gone into this guy?
Who is this guy? No, but the funniest thing was that Araújo, who is a fellow countryman of Darwin, and Darwin.
No, Araújo's Brazuca, no?
No.
I think it's Brazilian.
Who is the guy that was in the center of defense?
I don't know. It might be Araújo, but I thought he was Brazilian.
No, he's Uruguayan.
Okay.
And Darwin, in the media, when he reached the national team concentration today, was obviously interviewed by the media, and he did say that Araújo told them that when you go by me, don't make me look too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're seeing this means that
the guy just hit a freaking double over the top of the Green Monster, and Judge gets thrown out at home. You can't make this shit up. It could have been 3-2. You can't make this up.
Little baseball action as we're following it. Cristiano is a big Yankee fan, so he's following. Yankees are in one match playoff to make the baseball playoffs. So he's watching that at the same time he's doing podcasts. That's a dedication. there. But anyway,
Podcast comes first.
yeah, and then the PK, as I mentioned, and look, I think that as fans, we really deserve the night like this, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of Barcelona being weak. We just need it. I mean, there's a lot of people that lose sleep over Benfica, um, that get white and gray hairs from Benfica, that suffer
Two of
with
us.
Benfica. So I think when you get victories like this, especially for us here outside of the U.S., right? Because if you guys are not here in the U.S. as a
We are in the U.S.
no, but
I mean, especially for
for
us.
people that are not in the North American
Oh.
hemisphere, if people are in Europe, it's different because Benfica is very well known in Europe. In the U.S., you have this mixture of cultures, and everybody has their
America,
own team.
Pumas,
So
Guadalajara.
you always want to be proud of your team or what your team is doing in Europe. So when Benfica plays in against Barcelona and wins, you walk around your job with your chest puffed out because Benfica just beat Barcelona. And Chris is the prime example of
man.
that
Like
because
a like a peacock.
he's
Got the feathers up.
he's garnered enough abuse over the years that
Yes.
Benfica is absolutely shit
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
Champions League. So yeah, so for us fans
For years, man, when I mentioned Benfica, people laugh at me.
what team is that?
And now it's like, you can't even get mad at them no more when, you speak to a person that's not Portuguese, I should say. And, they like to drop the line that, the only team I know is Porto because it's, in Portugal, because what I see in the Champions League. And it's like, you can't even get upset because they're the only team that's actually represented lately. And so we finally got a night that we've all been asking for, which, look, regardless of the opposition, right? Because the fact is that in years past, it didn't matter if it was a weekend Barcelona, a tough Barcelona, if it was the local Boys and Girls Club. Benfica was not winning these games, and that's the sad part of it. And so you take the win as they come. It's a win. It's against a historic club. It's the first time that a Portuguese team's ever beaten Barcelona 3-0. I don't recall the last time Benfica won a game 3-0 in a freaking Champions League. So, just that alone is reason to celebrate. So, credit to Benfica. Call it what you want to call it. It is what it is. We won the game fair and square. We move on to the next game, and obviously we hope and we always expect to get these performances from our club over the years. This is not a 2021 thing. This is, I mean, you going back even the years that Benfica was making it to the Europa League finals and stuff like that. It's just some of these disappointing performances in Champions League football have always left us just shaking our head. We never quite understood why. And so, look, as we talked about Darwin a few weeks ago, when we all joked and laughed at him when he got 2 goals against Santa Clara, if I'm not mistaken, where he shot the ball like a one of them pinball game, but it ricocheted off everybody, but it went in, right? And so we talked about it then, where we said, hopefully this, builds up some confidence in the guy, and we've seen that it definitely has. It carried on into that Barcelona game, as you talked about before. The guy wanted the ball, he wanted to take the penalty, and so we bring this back now to Benfica, the club. Right, the whole roster, which is we hope that a win like this can set Benfica off on a nice run. And I get it. The next 2 matches are very, very tough matches.
Yeah.
Against arguably, you could argue Bayern is, best team in the world. They're right there in the conversation. So it's going to be a very tough 2 matchups, 2 games, let's just say. But after that, maybe Benfica could get back on the bounce and say, look, we're going into the Camp Nou and we're playing the same weekend dog, a team that's going to have to, that wants to get on the scoring sheet, that wants to get on the win column. They have 0 points, right?
Yeah.
They have 0 points. They're -6. So right now, Benfica, at least in the goal scoring department and the tiebreaker goal differential, Benfica's doing all right. They're +3. Right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're +3. Barcelona's -6. So hopefully this confidence builds. And again, it starts with nights like this. Benfica has to show up in games like this. The fans, we always show up. Okay. But the club doesn't always show up. And for this one game, they absolutely did. And it was just magnificent to see. The Stade de Luz was back alive once again. And this is why we all fell in love with Benfica.
Yeah.
When nights like this, you often come on here, more so than I do, and you talk about when we were growing up, those European nights.
Yeah.
And you and I were little kids, and we fell in love with the 120,000 at the Stade de Luz screaming. It didn't matter raining. It didn't matter. It was just fans were there to support and just sing all day long. And, we've gone away from that a little. And now a night like the other night against the Barcelonas of the world, it showed us again that, look, this is what's possible. This is what we can do. When the club is playing well, when the fans are supporting like they always do, it's just a beautiful thing to see, a beautiful thing to watch. And again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but that's why we fell in love with this club, was because of nights like this.
100%. So extremely important 3 points, and like the Dinamo Kiev is my my pass freda to Chris about 3 years ago. That it's a game that I felt that we should have won that game, and we're in much better position now if we have 6 points. Two matches with Bayern, one at the Luge, which I will be on, by the way. I'll be at, I should say, by the way. And then we travel to Germany to play them on a double fixture. I think, and if, like Cesar's saying, if we get a point at home and only lose by 2 in at Munich, I'm happy. I think a point at home is not too far fetched to get. But I think that Bayern is going to want to close out this thing as quick as possible, which would also then play into that last couple fixtures that Benfica will have Barcelona and Kiev at home, and one in the Catalonia, obviously. But look, it's a great result. It's a great result.
Benfica is going to be confident, though, after this game, this great victory at home. They play their next Champions League game at home.
And we have to, man.
They're going to be confident. It's going to be – Benfica are going to make things tough on Bayern. But, look, I think to sit here and expect the same demolition of Barcelona, of a Bayern Munich, I think it's too much to ask for. So just want the club to come out, man. Play with the right mindset, the right attitude. Never give up. Stop playing that wussy ball sitting in the back. I don't want to see all 11 guys behind the ball.
Stop playing that Fernando Santos ball.
Yeah, let's play some real football. And, hopefully, like I said, hopefully we get exactly that.
Yeah. Dave, numbers on this game so we can move on to next topic.
Yeah, like Chris said, first Portuguese team that's beaten Barcelona 3-0. This is the third time that Benfica has had 4 points through their first 2 Champions League match days. Previous 2, Benfica managed to qualify for the knockout round. So we'll have to see if we can make that 3 for 3 going forward. And Darwin with his third brace of the season, making him Benfica's leading goal scorer with 6 so far this season. But funny how the Sharks start coming around now after scoring 2 goals against Barcelona. I've had some Inter fans messaging me saying, "Hey, we're linked to this Darwin Nunez. What are your thoughts on
City?
Darwin? Take him.
Jesus, I don't know how
we used to showcase
how Pep
our
could be looking at him.
We used to showcase our young talent, right? So this is a Darwin showcase for the Champions League here.
Yeah. Yeah. So after Barcelona, Benfica was back to Portugal to play Portimonense, and the game took place on.
Well, they never left Portugal.
Oh, that's right.
Back in action. That's what you meant.
Can I say that they were in cloud 9 and they came back down to earth?
Back to earth. Yeah, you could have snuck it. Could have snuck by that.
Yeah, maybe that's the way I should have gone.
Yeah.
And I just messed it up.
Yeah, you're good.
But anyway, Benfica was back at Stade de Luz against Portimonense on Sunday, coming off, as we mentioned, a huge win in Europe. And usually these games after Europe are a little tricky. And this Portimonense game wasn't.
Well, before we get to Portimonense, I just wanted to say that.
Go ahead. What did you want to say?
Because you've forgotten already. That's why I'm just reminding everybody. I predicted a 2-2 result.
Oh,
and I was wrong, and I'm super happy that I was wrong. So
let's see. Right. Let's see what we did here.
You did 1-1. Dave did 2-0, I think. No,
I did 2-1 with the Freddies. I went with the Freddies.
2-1
yeah,
with the Freddies.
2. I had 1-1.
I had 2-2.
You had Chris had 2-2. And if you took Chris's betting tips, Chris had a draw over 2.5,
which I got.
and Rafa to score.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
So if you couldn't parlay that, but if you put some money on those individual bets, you would at least cashed in on
Why
a
couldn't
couple
you
of them.
parlay that? You could have.
Because in
For s-
parlay, you got to have 3 out of 3.
No, but for
No,
some
you got it
reason,
to win the parlay, Dave,
I
but you
tried to
can't
put the
parlay
I
it.
tried to put the parlay on DraftKings, and it wouldn't let me. It
You
says
could
you
could
can't do the
parlay
parlay.
anything. You could parlay anything.
No,
you
I'm
want.
just telling you that.
Well, DraftKings did you dirty because you would have won. Well, you still would have lost your parlay.
No. The DraftKings said this parlay is not possible to do for some reason. I
Got
don't
to
know
get
why.
on the
So-
Barstool Sports.
So the
book.
correct score, the over under, and a player to score.
Yeah, it wouldn't
You should absolutely be able
give.
to do that. Go to FanDuel.
Well, let's get
But whatever, I would've
Timo
gone 2 out
is
of
an
3.
expert in this betting. Maybe he's around
Timo.
that he could give us some pointers. But 2 out of 3 is not bad.
And look, and I got one. I mean, say what you want. Getting a goal scorer. Hey, that's not easy.
There would have been some good money on that.
I would have just, if I would have said Darwin 2 goals, bro, that would have been Dave. That's like 25 million to 1 odd. I mean, damn, did I say 25 mil?
Leicester City odds right there.
Yeah. So Portimonense, I forgot to. Since we're on the topic, we might as well look at what we predicted for Portimonense.
Oh man, I don't want to remember.
Chris was 4-0.
It's close.
I was 1-1. I don't remember where you were. You were 3-0, Dave.
I made some stupid comment about taking the over. I didn't want to give a score line.
Oh,
It
over
just
2.5. Two and a
Yeah.
half goals is what you said.
Hey, 4-0 was almost.
4-0.
It was close.
1-0.
It was right there, bro. If we would have put away one of our 58 chances, not
Yeah.
one, but 4 of them, we
So Portimonense game, obviously, it's never easy to come back from Europe and kind of change that mindset. And the proof of that is that 5 of the teams that played in Europe, that won games in Europe, actually dropped points over the weekend. Chris, did you know that?
Real, Bayern,
See if I have that.
PSG, Ajax.
Let me see if I have that. I
Who was
thought
the
I
other
had
one?
that somewhere. I thought I screen capped it because I wanted to bring it up on the podcast, but I guess I didn't. But yeah. No, peraí, tá aqui. So Barcelona lost to Atletico. Real Madrid lost to Espanyol. PSG lost to Rennes. Bayern lost to Eintracht Frankfurt. Ajax lost to Utrecht, and Benfica lost to Portimonense.
Here's a question: what was a bigger shock? Benfica losing Portimonense, Bayern losing to Eintracht, or Barcelona losing to Atletico Madrid? Not Barca. I'm sorry, Real Madrid.
I'm gonna say Bayern.
No, and I meant to say PSG. I forgot about PSG. That's the one I was. To me, that's the biggest one. But that was the one I was trying to.
Yeah,
get
PSG lost 2-0
to Rennes.
to Rennes.
I mean, that's gotta be. I mean, that's as bad as Benfica Portimonense, though. If you look at the gap, money wise, I know they're probably bigger, but in Portugal, Benfica Portimonense, that
I
gap.
don't think you
between
could look at the gap money wise, Chris.
Why
but
not?
I think you look at the gap on the table, and I don't know where Rennes is at, but Portimonense was 7th or 9th, I believe. if
We're
I'm
not in
mistaken.
week 38, bro. We're in week 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
everybody's
still,
gonna look good.
I
in
mean,
the
you've already
standings.
played 7 games domestically. Dave, what was Portimonense at? Was it 9th or 7th?
Going in, they were 7th.
Yeah,
And Rennes is in 11th.
yeah. So there you go. So that was much.
Hey,
PSG was much worse. 2-0
But on
you
that
lost.
Real Madrid topic, RDT scored against Real Madrid, the big RDT. So
Yeah,
man still got value there.
still got value. And somebody asked, I don't know why he's not being called to the national team. But anyway, RDT. Somebody in the media was asking why he doesn't get called, but I don't know. But anyway, this Portimonense game.
weren't asking
Let's
levels,
talk about this Portimonense game. Basically, the same lineup that we had against Barcelona, with the exception of Gilberto came in from Lazaro. Lazaro got hurt. I think I don't know if it was a gonalgia or what it was, but it was definitely something with
Lazaro
his
was a
with
It's
his
groin.
knee.
contagious.
Was it a groin?
It was. I think it was
Lazaro's a groin?
So it could have been, or maybe his quad.
Gonalgia.
Maybe it could have been his quad.
Yeah.
Quadalgia.
Conalgia.
Yeah, there it is.
So yeah, and look, I thought that it was one of those games, and from very early on, you kind of figured where the game was going to head it, and it's one of those games that, regardless of how much time there's in a game and how many chances present themselves, that the ball is not going to go in, regardless. And I mean, when you see the amount of saves that their goalie made, and the quality, well, not some of them were quality, right? But I mean, he's there, the whole body's there to defend. But I mean, you got saves that he's looking one way and the ball hits him on the hand that's the furthest away from the body. I think there was one he saved with his face, and like just point blank headers that he was just saving. And it's one of those guys that, and we often see this, those goalies that just get in that zone against Benfica and you can't get anything past them. And regardless of what you try or what happens, it's not going to get there. Um, I don't, there's a couple theories that people have put out there. Um, that, oh, we're coming off a European game, and this and that. I don't subscribe to that. I think that you have every right to beat a team like Portimonense, as Shiano mentioned, regardless of the budget, or whatever the team's value is and where they are on the table. You're playing at home, right? First time that you get 100% of the fan base allowed in the stadium, even though Benfica did a poor job of selling tickets and promoting that to get people in the stands, and it almost seemed like they only had 50%. You have every right to beat this Portimonense game, but it's football. Sometimes you just don't get the lucky breaks. I mean, there's been games this season where Benfica has gone to goal 5 times and they've scored 5 goals. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think that Benfica had 22 chances,
24 shots.
22 shots is I'm looking at the stats, 22 shots, 7 of them on goal, 13 corners, 60% possession against the Portimonense that had 5 shots, 3 of them on goal, 4 corners, and just were a lot more effective. But from very early on, the one thing that I noticed is that Portimonense is very focused on fouling and stopping Benfica play and stopping that flow. And I think that Benfica got a little bit impatient with that, and they got a little bit frustrated because they weren't being allowed to play against Portimonense. And look, and then on the dead ball situation, Benfica allows a goal. Hasn't happened a lot or at all, if that. But it was just, I don't know, man. It was just one of those games that I just felt that it just wasn't going to go our way, and I think that I started getting a little desperate. Dave, what'd you think, man?
I share those same sentiments, Alfredo, but really there's nothing more that this team could have done other than just capitalizing on their opportunities that they had. I know there could have been some questions on JJ's substitutions, but just looking at his bench, who does he have on to bring that's going to change the game at that point? They should have just been able to capitalize on their chances that they had in the first half, and even a goal called offside there. But when you run into a keeper that's playing the game of his life, and I'm sure that he'll be getting a briefcase of money from
I
up
don't know about
north.
that. Yeah,
But
Porto B, right? That's what they're known for, Porto B.
yeah, so I mean, at that point, there's nothing more that we could have done. We played our game, just couldn't capitalize on our chances, and I don't want to be frustrated with what could have been, but it's always frustrating to lose points. But if you look at this, we did everything that we would have asked from the team, just couldn't capitalize and couldn't get it past the keeper or the goal line when we did get it past the keeper.
Yeah, and look, I thought the team played. If the team had played poorly and lost the game, I would have been a lot more upset. But I still think that this team has every right to beat this Portimonense team. But it's just that type of game. I mean, we've seen these games. If you watch soccer all your life, you've seen these games that regardless of what happens, the ball is not going to go in. And it was just one of those days. But I thought that the team played well, and I think that um, and this probably we could probably compare this to American sports. So sometimes in NFL, a team will go undefeated for a while, and you never know when the team is going to lose. And I thought that maybe Benfica needed to lose that game just to take a little bit of the pressure off. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But
I'll tell you this much. There's three things I want to say.
go ahead. One.
One, all you guys criticize my boy Jota Jota, but when he said that Portimonense was going to defend better than Barcelona, y'all thought he was crazy, and he was exactly right. All right, just that's point number one. Number two, the Darwin we saw in that game on Sunday is the Darwin that we all know. All right, that's the guy we all know very well. That's number two. And number three, as frustrated as I normally get, and Alfredo, you know that because I usually call you to vent after every depressing Benfica result. I wasn't that upset after the game. And
Me either. I wasn't,
because we played well. We've had those games where, Pas Freire, right? Where Benfica looked like they wanted to be anywhere else but where they were at that moment, right? And it's like, bro, really? You have a game on a lot, and in this time, Benfica created opportunity after opportunity. As Dave said, the goalkeeper played out of his mind. We created chance after chance. We missed plenty of chances. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. It wasn't for a lack of creativity. It wasn't for a lack of ideas. It was just, look, it wasn't our night. We played well. We deserved to win that game, right? We should have, come away with the 3 points. But sometimes the ball doesn't want to go in.
Yeah.
And I would have been a lot more pissed off. And again, I'm never happy when we lose. Don't get me wrong. I'm still ticked off. We just blew the chance to keep it at 4, from our rivals. But, that whole BS. But we played well enough to come away with the victory. So, I would have been a lot more upset, more pissed off had we not created the chances, that we not come out to play. And we did. So, in that respect, I have to, applaud the team, the coaching staff. They did what they had to do. It just looked like JJ said after the game. We could have been here till what did he say? Till la noite or until mañana, whatever
Yeah.
he said. We could have been here till the cows come home. The ball wasn't going in the net, so let's just go home. Unfortunately, we didn't get that Sporting PK in the 96th or whatever. Being an asshole now, but credit to Benfica for doing what they had to do. But at the end of the day, Portimonense came to play, and they played their game. They defended well. JJ was right about them defending. They did exactly that, and they kept Benfica off the score sheet. And look, move on to the next game. And let's try to build another streak.
Yeah, and Cesar, and this was something in the preview that Portimonense had not yet lost the game away from the Municipal de Portimão. And like Cesar saying, Portimonense is one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah, they're right up there with Benfica and Sporting, if I'm not mistaken, as we look at the table. But yeah, look, I thought that they were lucky. I thought Paul Sergio in a press conference after the game, he did said that they were lucky, but he also recognized what his players did, which was getting points from Grande is a big accomplishment, and certainly their team did just that. Benfica lost 3 points. That gap of 4 points to Sporting and Porto is now gone. And as Cristiano mentioned, now it's time to get back to the grind and grind it out, because you have matches against Porto, you have matches against Sporting coming up, and you want to be in a good position. It's shitty that you lost the cushion, but certainly you're still in first. So into this international break in first, with the ability to rest some players and to reset some batteries. That's all we can do. Dave, numbers on this game, man.
Yeah, first, I think you made a point of it earlier. First goal that Benfica's conceded from corner kick this season. First time in 26 matches that Portimonense has beaten Benfica at the Estádio da Luz. And like we had said, Benfica ended the match with 24 shots, 7 of which were on target, which just ties into our point that we're making, that can't be too frustrated when we were creating these opportunities. Just ran into a hot keeper. You got to tip the hat off to him and just get back at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just definitely had the game of his life. So it is what it is, and we move on. Now we got the international break, and then we got Trufens in the inaugural match of the Portuguese Cup, this year's Portuguese Cup. Dave, you want to give us a little bit on Trufens?
Yeah,
I don't know much about the team.
Shockingly, historic stats are not in our favor. Only played them twice, and in those 2 matches back in 2009, 1 draw, 1 loss. They're currently in 14th position in the second division with 1 win, 4 draws, 2 defeats, and our B team already beat them third week of the season 2-1. So at least we have the B team to look forward to.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I know it's only 2 games, but at least in Portugal, how many teams can you really look at their historic matchups with Benfica?
Say we never lost to Benfica.
And exactly. And or like Benfica's got on this end, they got the worst numbers. Benfica got the worst numbers of the 2. They got the loss.
Yeah.
Because you could go, whatever. You could tie 7 games in a row. It's never a loss.
Right.
But I'm talking about that. I don't know if I'm making any
That
sense.
positive win margin.
They actually have a positive win margin over Benfica, which is how many teams in Portugal can you really can really say that?
None.
No, I don't know.
Porto definitely has our numbers every time I pull up those stats.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about the small fish.
The minnows, yeah, these minnows here.
The small fish. Sure. I mean, that's completely different story. But to have already played Benfica twice and never losing a game, that's remarkable. And I hope that stat is correct, Dave.
Hey,
where you get that from? Wikipedia? Oh, you got it from 00. Then that's legit for sure.
Why? Wikipedia gets it from 00, bro.
Wikipedia is it's Neil somewhere in his bedroom updating Wikipedia.
Shout out to Neil. Neil, thank you for listening, bro. Big shout out. Keep them beers cold.
So anyway, yeah, we got that. What day is that? On the 16th, right, Dave?
Yeah, I believe the 16th here.
Yeah, so that's Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, that's a Saturday.
Saturday at 8:15 local time.
8:15 local time.
3:15 here.
3:15 USA. Yeah.
Well, USA East Coast.
Yeah, that's right. Also, this and again, international break happens, but this weekend, big event for the club.
We got the Vieirista in the house here.
You got the Vieirista in the house.
He's giving me the number 1 finger. I'm number 1.
No, we got Benfica's elections, obviously, this weekend, and elections is always a big momentum for the club, right? Because our club was a democratic club before Portugal. It was even a democratic country. So we take a lot of pride in that, and being able to exercise our right to vote and to elect the people that we feel are best suited.
Have you gotten your letter with your pin?
I didn't.
No.
You're not supposed to get a letter with the pin, because the vote and
No.
you guys correct me if I'm wrong. The vote is only supposed to be in person. You can't.
No,
vote.
but I think you go to your. See, this is the part.
You go where?
I think go to like Casa Benfica.
No, you can't. There's
I thought it was just for the mainland.
There's no such thing.
Peraí.
There's no such thing. It's
So
only.
we don't have to pay our quotas.
It's
to,
only.
uh,
It's only.
Sergio já foste posted something about a picture.
He got a pin. But I meant to ask him, how did you get a
I'm telling
pin?
You could get.
That was from the elections.
Yeah,
last
you
year.
just got it from the elections of last year. That's right. No, I didn't get a pin, and I didn't hear about anyone else getting a pin. It's only they agreed on the Assembleia Geral that it was only going to be in person, vote in person this election. They agreed. Both parties agreed that there was going to be public only. So I don't know. I já first got a pin. Maybe once he got released from Twitter jail, all this shit started coming together. No, you can't vote. You can't vote online, from what I understand. Well, Davey said, I'm from Toronto and I got my letter with a pin. So
See?
maybe there you go.
David, mas peraí, o que é que isso diz? But I think it's to go to a house. You could go to a house. That's a physical
Dave,
vote.
does it say go to the house? The house of cards?
No, it gives you a
Not
website.
you, Dave. The other dude. The
No,
other
I'm
Davey.
I'm reading Sergio's letter that he posted here. He's got it looks like you can go on online and vote, and it's the
Really?
dated 2021, so it's not last year's elections either.
I don't know. I'm confused. But see, I told you there was a letter. I mean, it could be voting for.
Yeah, if that's the case. So anyway, the elections, you got Rui Costa obviously on one side, and you got Movimento Servir o Benfica, which is headed by Francisco Benitez. If you guys want both of those parties, I guess if you want both candidates have their
They're doing a debate.
They're doing a debate. Is it
That
tomorrow?
Benfica TV, they're doing a debate. They're actually Benfica TV is actually showing the They actually interviewed what's his name, Benitez.
They interviewed
Today
Rui
or
Costa yesterday. They
And then
interviewed
Benitez
Benitez today.
And I have
Also, Benfica Independente interviewed Benitez
yes,
yesterday.
that's what I was gonna get to. Olha aqui, Benfica Independente wearing it right here. They did a great job. And now, listen, I want to ask our in-house sócio, Grand Bruno Bar. Bruno, are you happy with what's going on so far this year? I mean, last time when we saw it, there was no debates. There was none of that allowed. I mean, you're a fan of some of those things. Are you happy with the current situation at Benfica? The fact that it seems like they're having a little bit more leniency or a little bit more conversation back and forth as opposed to last time.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but definitely needs a little bit. Definitely, Alfredo putting the mute on me. But I think it needs to be better. You know, I think BTV should be impartial and hold a debate with not, you know, in this case there's only two candidates, but
so you're saying like PBS, they bring in some outside dude to ask questions, not a guy from inside Benfica, right? Like a dude that has maybe bring that Aníbal Bastos, that guy that hates on Benfica on CMTV, let him ask the question.
Yeah, sure.
Rui Santos.
You know, I mean, we just have to have more impartiality to everything. And I read something today that Rui Costa wanted to do limited mandates, which, you know, if it's true, you know, I'm with that.
I think he said 3 to 4 mandates. But 4 is still
16 years.
16 years. That's still a lot.
I'm cool with that.
You cool with a project that's 16 years?
See,
I think that
I'm one of those. I don't really like.
I think that
I don't want the term to be
2
long.
plus 1.
I don't
2
want-
plus 1.
I don't want there to be long terms when we have a shithead for a president. But when it's a great president, I don't really care.
Yeah,
But I think to me, what needs to what the change that needs to happen at Benfica and Benfica world is the fans stop eating by the freaking shovel and wake up. It shouldn't take you 16 years to wake up.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the problem. I don't think the system is broken per se. I think it's the fans. The mentality is broken.
Yeah. I think
because you could have righted or wrong a long time ago, as opposed to just believing in everything. It's like a fairy tale book. You know what I mean? They believe that Cinderella is going to wear a glass slipper.
Well, yeah, and this goes a lot deeper than that, right? Because the statutes of the club were changed, and obviously they were changed with the Sausages' permission, right? Because they were up for vote. Sausages didn't care. They didn't show up. They didn't care about things, and things were changed in favor of the president that was already there. And then when it was too late,
that I got a problem with.
when it was too late, now it's too late. In terms of the number of votes that you have, if you're a socio that's been there for X amount of years, the Casas get 50 votes each. Who do you think the Casas are going to vote for? You think they're going to vote against the club? Against the president of the club? They're not.
Who just came in and put up beautiful walls?
Yeah, exactly. Who's sending you free coffee? Who's sending you paper towels?
Yeah,
E papel higiênico.
Dude, they do a great job of modernizing a lot of these
No, but I think that
Casas.
I was listening to the Benitez interview with Benfica Independent today, and he was saying how a lot of the Casas are kind of left um, to fend for themselves without the support of the club, and also uh, the houses. And I guess I'm not a big
House
I'm not a big visitor of the Benfica house here in Newark, but they said that the house at has turned more into a cafe business and a club shop business than a place where Benfiquistas go to hang out, to talk Benfica, to watch games.
I agree with you. It's more
Um,
of a pastime. Vou lá domingo à tarde, quando tenho nada a fazer. I hear, look,
é um
Benfica,
café, é um café.
it is a cafe. In the Benfica, Casa Benfica aqui in Newark, I know the guys that are there, but bad job by them. They should have had us in the building already by now to host a podcast. And, that's what Benfica, Dave, you're over there smiling, but, like, that's what the Benfica Brotherhood's about.
Yeah, and
I think they could have done a better job. They could have had us there promoting their own place, and I think it's it would have been good for them. At the end of the day, we're all pulling
and
for the
I
same
mean, we could
direction.
still do it. I mean, we know the guys there. All we have to do is really
I'm
talk to
still gonna
them.
criticize them, Bruno, because why do I have to mention it to them? They should have mentioned it to us.
Yeah, but the thing is that they don't have strong Wi-Fi and all that good stuff. Anyway, but yeah, so the manifestos for both candidates are available online, and I wrote down where you can find them.
This is the part of the podcast
you
where
could
I go to
you
the
could
bathroom.
look. I had Cristiano. Cristiano's my witness, right? I had look at all the
Bye.
shit that I wrote to talk
I
about
got good Wi-Fi. You could go over all of them. Go ahead.
to go. But then after reading this and there's so much jargon on here
You needed the knee-high
and
boots?
politics, and I was just like, I'm just gonna leave this alone. So if you want to read
Bore
the
yourself.
manifesto for Rui Costa, it's SLB Rui Costa 21-25.pt. That's the site where you could get it.
Okay.
And Servir o Benfica, you could go to Benitez. It's I'm sorry, BENITEZ -2021.com. And you could get both manifestos there. And look, it's a lot of it is promises. Obviously, a lot of it is somewhat utopian in terms of what they wish for the club. But nonetheless, I mean, these are all promises that are Benfica, all of us Benfiquistas hope that they will come through and they'll do good on their promises. You guys know, and you've heard me here, I have a problem with Rui Costa because, I just think that this whole time that he's been under Vieira, he had to have known something, whether he was actively involved or not. I think he had to be aware of it. And I think that there's probably part of him that was left off, but I think there's part of him that was involved. We've already seen two VPs step down that were Vieiristas. The guys that he brought in didn't really change much. There was two new faces that came in. One is Fernando Seara, which was a Vieira man, if I'm not mistaken. So not much change, but the biggest thing right now that a lot of people are looking at is that Benfica is doing well. If you want to kind of reduce it to sporting results, right? He's also come through on the things that he wanted to do, right? So he wanted to start off the season well. He wanted to complete the Empréstimo Obrigacionista. He wanted to make the Champions League. He wanted to be doing well domestically. All of those things have happened, whether it's by stroke of luck or stroke of genius, that have happened. So in a way, he has done, or things have happened in favor of him. Benitez was a guy that had run last year, was going to run last year. Then he decided to join with Noronha Lopes. And then we all saw how that happened, that whole election, how it turned out. Vieira won, blah, 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 blah. So I don't think that Benitez has a chance to win this election. But I do think that it's commendable the fact that he feels that there's a lot of Benfica that are not happy with the way the club has gone, and as a result, he could be a voice of those Benfiquistas, in which myself I include myself in. So it took a lot of guts because he knows that he probably has no chance, but he's at least keeping Rui Costa honest, right? He's forcing Rui Costa to come up with something. And I think that he's come up with a lot of good things. I read both manifestos as I mentioned, and I think that there's a lot of good things on the manifesto. And if you have a chance, I mean, I think Benitez is 52 pages. There's a lot of pages with graphics and pictures, and Rui Costa's is 24 pages. So if you have some time, obviously it's in Portuguese. If you have some time, do that. But yeah, it's an election. It's an important time. I feel that Rui Costa is going to win, and I really hope that we usher in a new era for Benfica. And if it was something that I always pointed out to Luis Vieira, it was that he might be a great businessman or not, right? But one thing was certain: he knew diddly squat about football. And if there's anyone in that structure that knows about football, is Rui Costa. So in that aspect, and understanding the experience that he's had in the clubs that he has gone through and what he's seen, and maybe Berlusconi is not is not the best example, right? But certainly he's been involved at some of the biggest organizations in the world, and I hope that he's able to transition into this guy that really brings back the values of the team, the values of the club, that brings prestige to the club in the present, and so we don't live off of the prestige of the club in the past. So I'm hoping that we can usher in that new era with Rui Costa. I have no doubts in my mind that he will win the election, and I just hope that Benfica goes on a different direction, and it go in a direction that a lot of us Benfiquistas hope that the club will go into. I don't question Benfica's Rui Costa's Benfiquismo. I think that he's a Benfiquista through and through, much like many of us. And I think that he wants the best for the club. Now, uh, is he completely clean from this Luis Vieira thing? I don't think so. But I think it's really up to him to prove in the next couple of years when he wins the elections that he's his own man and that he could take the club into the next era. Cristiano, you got any choice words for this election?
Carrega Benfica.
Dave?
No, I'm just still getting over the Canadian election. I don't want to dive into the Benfica election.
Yeah, nah, good call. Look, and Cesar says Benito's program is better than Rui Costa one. It I think I was reading through the Benitez one, and I felt the Benitez one to be a little bit more clear than the Rui Costa one. And I think the Benitez one brings up a lot of points that the purists, the Benfica purists, want. And the Rui Costa is something a little bit more. It struck me as something a little bit more modern, into a new era of modernization, into global recognition, and I think that's more the direction Rui Costa went in. But it doesn't surprise me. You look at Rui Costa's manifesto, and there's four pictures of him. There's five pictures of him. One with him as a youth player. One with him when he made his debut with the main team, and then another one when he returned, and then the other two are him in a suit. So there's that careful marketing, if you will, marketing ploy to kind of associate both of them. While a lot of guys that dislike Rui Costa as a president are separating Rui Costa the player from the Rui Costa the dirigente or the director. But look, I don't think that Benitez has a chance. But I'm glad that he has put himself forth, because it just speaks to the democratic qualities of the club. Cristiano, I know that this is not your strongest point. You're not a politician at heart. You rather talk soccer, but certainly an important moment for our club.
Man, look, how do I say this, bro? I think that when it came to the former president, at least, right? I came on this podcast for years and gave people my thoughts and my feelings, and I got shitted on for years. I was called every name in the book. You've seen a lot of emails. I got tons of emails, with sending tons of hate my way. And so it just came to a point where it was just like, I'm not even going to talk about this anymore. And it's like, I know it's not the right attitude to take. I get it. But at least when it came to that one, it was the right attitude. Because, like, I've said all I had to say. Like, you didn't see it before. Like, it ain't my fault. You should have seen it. And so now I'm just deciding to look, when it comes to my feelings, my opinions regarding who I think is the best man for the job, I keep that to myself. And it comes down to the day that we can vote, I'll do so. I just ask that Benfiquistas around the world be smart, because I think that Benfiquistas are dumb. I think we have a bunch of dumb people that follow this club and it's all because
not in a malicious way, of course.
no, they're dumb because we should have seen this coming. I mean, this happened years ago with us, and then we fell on the same track. Like, we're in this predicament because of us, the fans, the socios, us, ourselves. We're dumb. So I'm calling myself dumb too. We're dumb.
Yeah.
We should have been able to.
No, we should definitely shoulder a lot of the blame.
Because we're the ones that constantly go over there and we vote for this same nonsense over and over and over. And when you have a chance to change things, you still vote for the same nonsense. So at the end of the day, whose fault is it? Ours.
Yeah.
We're dumb for doing the same thing over and over and over again. The sign was the sign of insanity is doing the same thing a million times and
You
expect a
use that
different
line
result.
all the time.
So it's the only thing I got. Queres que eu meta mais um que não sei?
At least you got it right this time.
I did. All right. But the point is that it's
Do you know
very
who said
simple.
that? Do you know who said that?
Cristiano Oliveira on the Benfica Podcast.
No.
I just did. Albert Coutinho.
Albert Coutinho.
Shout out. Al. Big Al. What's up?
Yeah, no, look, I
What are you gonna do, man? Like, it just
you can't. But here's the other thing that I'll ask, because next time that we'll come on here, we would have known we would know the results of the election, and if it was something that Cristiano and I both agreed on in terms of an editorial line, was that regardless who we voted for, right, on the last election, whoever won, we were going to accept and not say support, but we were going to stomach for another 4 years. We're stuck with it, right? And the same appeal is what I'll make to everyone now, right? So regardless who wins, regardless of whether you're a Rui Costa or you're against Rui Costa, whether you're Servir Benfica or Benitez or not, whoever wins, let's support. Let's support, because that's the club will be better off if we're all together and united. And regardless of who wins, you got to give the man the benefit of the doubt. And let him do his work.
But see, Alfred, support. I'm with you. We need to unify with each other, right? We need to get together, support. But if whomever wins the elections is not doing what he's promising that he,
Well, that's the thing.
we need to all support, and we all need to get on the same page and make sure
Right.
that these guys are held to what they're promising.
Hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. You got to give the guys time to work. So whether it's Rui Costa, whether it's Benitez, you got to give them time to work. Because if it's all the same, then we may as well have another election soon. But you got to let these guys work and unify and do the best you can. Yeah, like Carlos Amaro says, "E pluribus unum."
Man, we just
That's how we're gonna leave it.
that's it.
That's how we're gonna leave it. And just we have to support. From what I've seen so far of this team, I think we're on a very good path. I know we got some tough games coming on. I know we got the Champions League, but I'm encouraged by what I've seen from this team. And I think that the only thing that's going to benefit this team is the unity of all the fans and the support of all the fans. Not criticize this guy and that guy because JJ was Vieira's choice and Rui Costa's choice, whatever. You know, we got to do it for the greater good of the team.
But this is why I don't want to talk about this, man, because I could open a huge can of worms here. This is why I don't like to get involved in this, right? With anybody. I just like to keep it to myself. Because see, I love you, you're my man. But what you just said, like, you're content with the direction of this team. They're playing well. Like, I think this is where the Benfica needs to be smarter, right? Which is, regardless of the results, you should want what's best for this club. And whoever's going to give that best, right, who's going to take this club to the next level, who's going to take this club and, represent this club in the way that we all want to be represented. That's what we should be looking at, regardless of the result.
But what do you think is more harmful to the team?
If you're a Rui Costa guy, right, and you like what he represents, and you really believe that he's got his heart in the right place, and you think he's got the right mindset and the right attitude and the right people in place to take this club to where we belong, to where we should be, it shouldn't be because of a bad result here and there. It should be about, look, because at the end of the day, we talked about us facing Barcelona and how they're going, through their own turmoil. I mentioned here on the podcast that Benfica themselves are going through their own turmoil. It's a shit show at the club, right? The only thing that stabilized it a little bit is the fact that we've won. That's brought some of the stabilization where I guess the fans weren't going up, going over each other. And we've seen all the BS that we saw, in the last election, people, fighting one another because nobody could get on the same page. All of a sudden, because you shared a different opinion, you were just a bad person, right? We need to be smarter. I think regardless of the results, because we know when clubs are going through turmoil, they're gonna hit a rough patch, right? And I look at it as whoever I decide to vote, whoever my mind was made up on voting, it wasn't going to be affected or changed. My mind wasn't going to be changed based on a result, based on the start of the season, because this is, the next 4 years, right? This is not about the next 3 months, the next 6 months. It's about the next 4 years. So I understand there's going to be a bump on the road, right, to get to where we need to get. But whomever that candidate is that I believe is the right person, again, I just don't think it should, your opinion, my opinion, anyone's opinion, should be changed based on a few good results. If you were in doubt before, now, okay, I'm okay because we're winning, well, then you're a jackass.
No, but I understand and I agree with what you're saying, but I think that the team is better off when everyone's united rather than infighting.
Agreed. But it shouldn't be based on what the results we've seen of late.
No.
That's not knocking Rui Costa or praising Rui Costa. It's just saying, if you really didn't think that Rui Costa was not the man for the job, you shouldn't be changing your mind because Benfica, beat Barcelona 3-0. That's it.
Yeah. I agree.
Smart about it.
But we knew this. We knew that once we started winning and the season would go according to plan, that some of the guys that were raising waves were going to cool down. We knew that. We knew that things were going to get easier for Rui Costa if the team was winning. But that, like you said, that goes to say that Benfiquistas have to be smarter and that the club shouldn't be decided on the moment of the club.
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed. And look, Rui Costa's done a lot of good. He's done a lot of good. But, we need to hold people accountable. So I'm not knocking Rui Costa. He's my idol. He's my favorite soccer player of all time. But unfortunately for him and myself, because it would have meant I was a lot younger, but we're not talking about him playing on the field. It's totally different things. Him on the field is one thing. Him as a director, be smart. And if you believe that's the right person, vote for him 100%. Go behind the man. And if you believe Benitez is, whatever, but just don't be influenced by a couple of results here and there because, things are good in football today and tomorrow they're not.
Yeah. Yep, that's all we got for you this week. Don't forget to check out Benfica Independent. I know that there's a lot more content coming through on elections. I know that those guys are busy recording stuff. Also, the Benfica ladies played their first match of the Champions League against Bayern today at the Seychelles, and they tied Bayern.
Yep.
So a Herculean effort by the ladies, and praise to the club also that that finally is allowing them to play at the Seychelles. At least they could have been playing at Stade de Luge. Nothing going on at Stade de Luge. A game like that,
See, that was
deserved it.
that was actually one of the bits I caught from Ricosta in his interview, and when they talked about the female squad, and he said it's not that we don't want them to play there; it's that Benfica, call it what you want to call it, we need to expand, whether it's at Seychelles or we need to find another facility because they have all the teams from all the age. There's just not enough space for everybody, and so I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think it was because they didn't want them to play at the Seychelles. I just think that when you have the U19s, the B team, the this team, that team, you know what I mean? You have so many games going on at once. It's tough to fit everybody in. And I do agree with the request on that point that they're going to have to expand at some point. They're going to have to get new
Yeah, but
facilities
I mean, I think that they could work out logistics in a way
think
that
they
they
have
could
now.
allow the ladies to play at that main field at the Seychelles.
yeah,
at
but they
least.
have now. Now they're doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it for European competitions. Domestically, they're still playing at the Tapadinha.
Tapadinha sounds a dope ass name, right? It's better than Seychelles. I'd rather play at Tapadinha, right, Dave?
Yeah,
What's the capacity?
500,
1300
500
standing.
standing. So
Bring
anyway,
your own seat.
yeah, so that's all we got for you this week. Next week, we're going to be taking a break as a result of the European, the international break, I should say. 10 CO10 87 DO 87 at Benfica Podcast. Bruno, what's your Twitter?
Nobody cares.
Huh?
Bruno's mind.
mind.
That corrupted. The skill é só-
Bruno's mind. É só skills
é
lá
só
dentro a correr.
dust. Só dust lá
Só
dentro.
skills. Bruno's Instagram.
Mr. Bruno's mind.
Bruno,
on
what did you
Insta-
do when Instagram was down, bro?
He went on Facebook. Oh, that was down too.
You went on WhatsApp. Oh wait.
I know. See.
Appreciate
all the Freddy.
MySpace.
Thank you.
People are on MySpace.
Hey, MSN Messenger was making a comeback too, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right. Anyway, thanks to all the Freddies for keeping us company, man. We really appreciate it, and it was lively. Cesar is in the other side of the world, like Peggy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in
I
Australia.
didn't know that. Big shout outs. Says thank you, and all the other Freddies, man. We really appreciate this, man. We're glad that we're coming to you guys live. We're glad that you guys
Yeah.
are able to join us, chit chat, talk your trash. I love the part where you guys, you do seldomly do it, but I love the part where you send praises my way. Keep them coming. Don't hesitate.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for all your support. Enjoy your week. Take the weekend off, man. Enjoy yourselves. Do something fun. Cold weather for us here in the northern hemisphere is coming.
Not cold yet.
Enjoy that fall. If you got kids, apple picking, pumpkin picking, all that good stuff, man. You know what to do.
Don't go no
Just
more.
get outside, man. Get outside, exercise, and do all the nice things. Be kind to each other. Take care, everyone. Later. Speak to you again in a couple weeks.
Later.
Bye.
Ciao.